Do you believe you can manifest anything? I'm willing to bet that almost every person watching this video will either say no or say yes and not really believe it. I'm going to tell you what's going on right now in this amazing transition of our planet. And we're going to start focusing more and more on my channel on the things that you have control over within your human existence here, what it means, how it works, and then we're going to talk about advanced manifesting, which I teach. Do you want to learn about this? I'm teaching students to do miraculous things. I'm not saying it, they are. I'm going to talk to you today about how you can go into that space of unlimited manifesting. You ready? Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing life. What's unlimited manifesting? Everything is one thing. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. Energy fields are not separate from one another. They're just forms of the same energy in different vibrations, different frequencies, creating, expressing itself in different ways as one. This is the most difficult things human beings have to wrap their heads around, and that is, how can I be one if you're standing over there and I'm here? And yes, I know I have an energy field that exudes out here, but if it expands out from you, where does it end? Where did it begin? It doesn't. And so therefore, everything is just one thing happening, not in different time zones. That's an illusion also. Everything you're in right now is an illusion. And I want you to know that you are the power that is the creator, just experiencing everything it can be. And so we try to put thought into that. The ego wants to control that, wants to understand it, and it can't. What's advanced manifesting? What is it I do with my students that's different? When we try to manifest, we're continually thinking of ourselves as individuals, and that the power of the universe or the creations or the creator or whatever it is we're speaking to is something separate from us. And so because we think as human beings as separate minds and bodies and free wills, we believe the creator is that also. I asked my mom once, Mom, do you really think that God is like a man in a robe out in space somewhere? And she thought about it and she said, yeah. Okay, cool. That's what you think. I'm not going to discuss it with her, but I was really interested because I had never asked that question. And I realized so many of us actually believe that. We believe that there's a separate entity making decisions, deciding if we're worthy or not. You're worthy because you are that. Now, how do we use that power? And why are we here? So why are we in a body that represents itself as something separate and limited? Because the creator wants to know that. The creator, you, want to know what it's like to be limited. You want to know what it's like to be unloved, or at least think you are, to be sad, to have fear, to feel separate, to be unconscious. You're in unconsciousness right now. How do you tap into the unlimited power that you are? It's always here. It has never left you. It always existed. It always will. You just have to be aware of it. You have to go into the consciousness of it. And so when you go into the conscious state of being, you're tapping into absolutely everything there. The reason why most people don't or feel that they can't is because they don't believe in it. So they create this separate self that's limited. And they believe it is wrong to hold that power and that there must be something greater than they are that they must ask or have approval from. Well, the one doesn't approve of anything, nor disapprove. And that's tough too. So I get all the time, Landria, how can the abuser or whatever be, how can I forgive that? Well, Christ did. Was the shining example of what we should be doing, yet we still can't bring ourselves to forgive anything, to say that that is equally as beautiful and perfect, just making different decisions. And that I get to experience that with the perpetrator. And therefore, something is gained from it. Opportunities are presented from it. And we don't like that because the ego doesn't like pain. It doesn't like to be limited. It doesn't like to feel like it's not in control. But as soon as you let go of your ego, that's when you are in control. Advanced manifesting is simply you removing every barrier that is created in the illusion of the human experience. Now, if you guys are in here, you know that I'm always coming out with new stuff. My latest is Activate Your Magic. It's solely focused on manifesting. But let me share with you right now that you can start doing today. And that is, there are 3 stages of this training. It is not a technique or a vision board or a meditation that I teach. Those are just little tools on the side. The entire foundation has to be laid in place, put in place, before you can actually start to see the effects that you desire and go into a space of peace as these things unfold. You see, the ego wants it to happen the way it wants, not the way it should happen according to what your higher self is. What's the higher self? It is just that which is pure and perfect, that is you, that exists right now, and that everything else is the illusion. So you are that. There's no separation between you and that. So you always have access to it because you are that. So therefore, as the individual human being, you have all that information. You hold all that power. But you have to experience being a human. That's the whole purpose here. So we fight it. We don't want the human experience. We don't want to feel bad. We want to get out of it. Let go of that. Let go of it. So then how do we manifest anything? We go into a state of being. We set the foundations of recognizing all the limitations that we create. Because through the limitations, we create the barriers between that here and that which we have total access to right now. It's like that beautiful beach out there, it's there with blue skies, no matter what I do. But if I close the doors, and then I close the drapes, and then I go in the closet, it doesn't exist for me. And until I open everything up and go out into it, these were just barriers that I created or chose between me and that which is out there. Do you understand this? That's the only reason you're not accomplishing your goals. And the second thing is that when you're going to accomplish your goals, you have to accept that there is a pathway that the human cannot understand that is required to get there. And that pathway and the journey is exactly what you came here for. And we try to skip that. We try to skip from going here to there. Yet we're the person here that still has the barriers and shuts the doors and judges and separates ourselves. And we want that. But that isn't a person who thinks that way or behaves this way or doubts themselves or doesn't have the, let's just say, desire to let go and let God. This is advanced manifesting. And guess what happens? Now, you may not believe this, but when you go to that space, all things are possible. Now, you're going to remain a human being, so you're going to still play that role. So you have to understand, I'm choosing to be a human being in this unlimited space that I am now in. Now, here's what happens with that. So the human you can walk on water. The human you can go to a party on the other side of the planet, and people will actually see you. The human you can communicate with people, because now you're in this field out here with no barriers, and you're still attached to, you still have an attachment to the human body role that you're playing, but you're still that which creates everything. And you have all answers. You have everything you need. And so when you go into the superpower of advanced manifesting, you understand what you chose, and you're okay with it because it's a flash in eternity. And so you don't want to miss this. You don't want to bypass it, but most people, most of my students, they accept the fact that they're wanting to bypass it, they battle it, and they finally give up and they come to me. And we learn how to just let go, and we go into this space, and the results have been outstanding and miraculous. I have testimony after testimony, hundreds of testimonies of people telling me that insanely amazing things happened that they never even ordered, because the ego wants to order specific things, manifestations. We don't even do that. We place an order, a directive, according to what we desire, but we don't specify all the details like the ego would. We allow that quantum field, that creator, that one, that source, to go ahead and bring in all the gifts, because there's no reason not to accept them anymore. I don't have that door closed. You don't have to knock and pound on the door to try and bring the gift in. The door's wide open. Bring them right to my feet, and I'll open them. And then I'm going to give gifts, and I'm going to receive gifts. And I have no ideas about what's right and wrong about that, because there's no such thing. And I will receive, and abundance is okay. So in your material world, people feel so guilty about getting money for doing things. Spiritual people don't do that. There are no rules. Abundance is for everyone. Everyone is giving and receiving when they're in that higher state of being. They don't name it. And everyone flourishes. But when your ego state, you think it's wrong because there's an imbalance with giving and taking. So we have poverty and we have wealth, extreme wealth. We have all these things, so we think it's bad. When you go in a higher state of being, you have no problem accepting abundance, and you're giving abundance, and it flows beautifully. There's no name on it. There's no imbalance with it. So now we no longer have a problem with that. So if you're thinking that way about money or even relationships, so if you're deserving of anything, you're not realizing that when you go into that state of perfection, everything is just one thing. There's no star seeds. I know, it's a role. It's an illusion. You are the star seed. Everyone is. How can we not be? We all come from one source and are everything, including everything you see and don't see. This is really deep stuff. If you want to come over, take my free videos and you can go into and explore some of the free classes and things that I have for you. But it takes training to go outside of limitations and the veil. We wanted to experience it. It's pretty cool and painful and scary and frustrating. And there are days when I just lay in bed and think, it'd be so easy just to never wake up. This is tough stuff. Because no matter how awakened you are, you're still in a world of other choices. We chose that. You and I chose it. Because that is the greatest teacher of all, is the abuser, is the person who's angry, is the person who tells you that you're limited, is the person who tells you that you shouldn't earn money because it's not spiritual. Their own fears. Everyone out there has to deal with that, with the fears of others. But you don't have to go into that space. You're unlimited, and so are they. So when they recognize that, they too shall have the power to manifest anything. So I'm going to talk more and more about this and give you more and more tips. Again, you can go to my email list, and I give all kinds of cool stuff there. I hope that you will subscribe. And I also hope that you, if you want to create an online business, go get some really cool skills. And I am going to have a new platform that's going to blow your mind. It's going to change the world. Why? Because your thought changes the world. So when you create something new and positive and you give people options to do amazing things, you show them ways to change their lives in positive ways when they choose it, you change the world. You're that important. I don't want you to ever doubt that. I know this. I have that information. And the information is you are perfect and beautiful, powerful, you're a loving being. There's nothing you cannot do. You hold that power right now. You are the creation and the creator. I know. Just let it go. You don't have to understand it. I'll see you in the next video, my friend. Namaste.